Hey, core reporters, and welcome back to my channel. Now that Love is Blind Season 3 has played out in its entirety, I really want to throw this conspiracy theory, this fan theory into the ring and say that I do honestly believe that Cole and Colleen should have given their love a chance and gotten engaged to one another this season of the show. They really hit it off with each other in the pods. They're two simple, playful, fun people, bubbly people. But unfortunately for Colleen, Cole decided that it wasn't enough for him. He felt as though she was a little bit too shallow. She never really got deep or revealed herself to him. And so he ultimately wound up dumping Colleen. And that is how she wound up in the arms of Matt and his anger issues. Honestly, looking back at it, I feel as though, given that they're only in the pods for like a week or something like that, I think that Cole should have given Colleen the opportunity to open up slowly. He should have just asked her, Colleen, are you willing to open up and talk about something a little bit more than you being a ballerina? Because I think that outside of that, they got along really well. They're both super sweet people. One thing that I kind of noticed or thought about while I was preparing this video was how even in their big disputes with their significant others, you never saw Colleen or Cole being like the crazy, screaming, wild, aggressive partners, the way that you saw Matt being towards Colleen in a way that was very disturbing after the pool situation with Cole, or the way that you see Zanab dig into Cole and refuse to take any sort of responsibilities for her own shortcomings in their relationship. You know what I mean? I felt like both of them have better conflict skills than their respective significant others that they wound up choosing. Sometimes Zanab doesn't even want to engage in conflict. She would rather punish Cole by engaging in the silent treatment, and then Matt, sometimes if you'd want to take things up a notch after screaming at Colleen, he would then decide to punish her by threatening to leave her, packing his bags and all sorts of things. Or just leaving her to just be crying her eyes out next to him while he gives no single F's at all. One thing I do have to ask you guys about Cole talking about Colleen being shallow is, did Cole himself ever kind of open up about anything all that profound? When I think about his conversations with Zanab, I think about how oftentimes she's complaining about herself physically or whatever, or not wanting to get her hair wet or this or that or the other. And Cole is trying to lighten up the mood by talking, asking questions like, what's your favorite animal? Do you want to play like a game? You know what I mean? He's more on the playful side. So I really do wonder what he was expecting out of Colleen, if he himself is more of someone who is into levity and lightness and stuff like that. It does make me a little bit curious. Maybe he felt like he wanted that, but it's not actually what he wanted. Something about it just doesn't click because, when it comes to him and Zanab, I don't see either of them as all that deep. I know that Zanab can be heavy, like a little depressing or whatnot, but does that make her deep? I don't know. I think he confounded her pain and the unfortunate circumstances of her life, for example, her, being orphaned from a very young age, as her being very deep and mature and wise and whatnot. But ultimately, when you see them try to navigate their love outside of the pods, you learn that that could not be any further from the truth. She still has a lot of issues when it comes to coping mechanisms within romantic relationships, particularly a refusal to see anything wrong with what she does in a relationship. It's always her partner's fault, everything that happens in a relationship. Here's the thing about Cole and Colleen. I feel that even if they did get engaged, which I do believe they should have, and their engagement ultimately did not wind up working out, I feel like it would have been more on the Kelly and Ken side of things. Do you guys remember them from season 1 of Love is Blind, the kind of boring couple where they just decided there wasn't enough of a spark there? I feel like that's what would have happened. There wouldn't have been the soul destroying nature of these other relationships. Do you remember very early on, Cole said that Zanab and her passive aggressive attitude beat him down. It made him feel bad about himself. And that is not something that you want to feel when you are engaged to somebody. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to feel constantly belittled or whatever. Colleen was screamed at in ways that were really hard to watch. Matt constantly threatened to leave her as like punishment and stuff like that. Like, it's a lot. And look at the body language that she turned up to the Love is Blind reunion with, and you didn't see her smile. I never saw her crack a genuine smile at all. I don't remember seeing a smile at all. And then when you look at her body language here, I do have a video entitled "Is Colleen Okay?" that really gets into Matt's aggressive body language throughout the reunion versus Colleen's very submissive, scared kind of body language as well. Here's another one of their tense body language instead. I don't think that Colleen would have turned up to the reunion looking this frazzled. And I don't believe that Cole would have looked like this at the reunion either. Both of them were absolutely destroyed, eviscerated by their partners. Their bubbly, happy-go-lucky, light personalities turned into this, you know? And I think that if they had just gotten with one another, they would have gotten bored with each other potentially. To me, that would have been the worst that could happen. I don't think that things would have gotten as ugly as they did, to the point where Cole is wondering, you know, he's questioning his own sanity because he remembers offering his fiance a poke bowl to eat. And now she's over here claiming that he told her that she eats too much and he's pushing away food from her. You know what I mean? And same goes for Colleen. I don't think that Cole would have shouted her down if she told someone else that, you know, she thought that they were an attractive person. I think that that's something that they would have worked through, you know, rather than gone through in the way that Colleen wound up having to go through that situation with Matt in, you know. But listen, I'm kind of curious if any of you guys feel the same way. Like, how do you think things would have panned out if Colleen and Cole ultimately wound up getting together? Do you think that even if they didn't feel like they were ready for marriage, do you think that at the very least they would have still left the show and their experience with their happy-go-lucky, bubbly personalities still intact? Would their fights not have been as brutal as the fights between Cole and Zanab and between Colleen and Matt? Would Cole have looked like this by the end of the Love is Blind reunion? Would Colleen have gathered up all the girls to gang them up against him? You know, and would Colleen have this sort of body language? Would she show up not smiling at all at the reunion? Make sure to let me know all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. And as usual, we'll chat. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.